everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. I'm here today for an episode of Use Your Books. So, since I started this series, it's been a little sporadic, but I would like it to be a little more common so that I can get on using my books. So today we are using a Somerset Studio, the same one that I've been working through in this series. It is from it's volume 18, issue 3. So the concept that I go with here in this Use Your Books series is literally like we buy all these books in magazines, especially magazines, and they just kind of hang around. So my concept that I'm doing now is I'm going to pick up one of these magazines, I go through and I mark everything I would like to actually make, and then I make it. So I was inspired today by this teeny tiny cottages made from scraps by Jennifer Baumgartner. So I think these are made on a little bit of wood, like that really nice thin balsa wood, you know, that you can use for building. I'm pretty sure that's what she's using, and there's something that you would hang on the wall. What I'd like to translate this into is a piece of ephemera for our journals. So I'm sure you can see how that won't be too difficult to do because, you know, it's a pretty distinct and nice little shape that you could use as a journal card. I think these are so cute. I love the little painted flowers, and I'm pretty darn excited to do that. So let's go ahead and get started on this. So the other thing that I was thinking about was some components that I want to use beforehand. So you see these fun scalloped roof bits. Well, I have a whole bunch of these scrapbook frames that I got while thrifting, and I thought these would be pretty perfect for exactly that. So I've got a couple of those here. I'm going to make, I think, 4 of these cottages from one collage board that I made. So collage board will be my background for this, so it's already going to give me a start, and I'm really interested in doing the rest of the elements. So I'll set the book off to the side for a moment, and I'm going to cut down my 4 cottages from this. Okay, so I think I will cut this in half, then again in half, and obviously you can make these any size you want. I'm just going with the size that I like. Okay. All right, so then let's look at the book again and kind of get an idea of what we'd like to do. So maybe the first thing I'll do is work with the stuff that I already have ready, which is this roofing or this like thatching thing. So maybe I will cut these down. We'll see how does our tag situation, what does that leave us with? Okay, so not exactly, because I've still got this. So maybe I can use my roofing as my guide for what I can do here. Yeah, I think so. Let's go ahead and add glue to one side. And then I'll start in the corner here maybe. Or actually, I'll start like this. I'll go one up from the very corner of that roof. And I should have some glue paper under here to just protect my surface. Okay, so glue that on. And then it seems like she kind of left maybe a little overhang of like 1. So you see there's 1 extra and then a little overhang back here. So that's what I'll do. And then, you know, from here, it actually feels pretty easy to plan once you've got this first one down. Maybe I won't even need that extra one up top. Like I said, I think, you know, using this as your guide, it's going to make it pretty easy to decide what you want to do. So I think I'll snip this one off, keep that. Cut that here. All right, and so that uses up like 2 of the sides of the frame. So for 4 of these houses, I'll need 2 of those frames. That's perfect. Let's make sure that that's all down. Okay. I could probably cut this flush. Yeah, well, maybe not. I don't know. It's okay, but I think I will leave some excess on the other one. Now that I'm looking at it, I like it with a bit of excess. Okay, so then this one, I think I can do it the same way I did. Cut it kind of like we cut tag tops. And we'll leave that bit there, but this one seems a little wider. So we'll experiment with how this goes. Maybe go 1 in from the bottom. Yeah. So I think that the best way to guide this is just add glue, then guide it down. Have at least 1 excess bump for your roofing, which you could make with like those fun scissors that have, you know, the textures. You could make it if you don't have it. And then just go a little extra. Leave 1 bump off the side, and then again 1 at the top. Then let's see if I did this okay. Or will I have a little gap? No, I'll be okay. I'll be just okay. I'm going to glue that whole section there. And then, and I think you can probably move things around if it doesn't feel like it's lining up exactly if you do have a little gap. Like, see, I have this little gap there. So what I'm going to do is clean up the top of the roof how I want it to look, like so. Come over here and over here. So what do I notice? I notice that this one seems longer than this one because it is, because it's covering that top piece. And then when I think about how I want this to look, I think I'm okay with this. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Let's let it be. Okay, so this one, I guess the other thing you could do, I'm just thinking of different ways I can plan this, is you could put this down first. Why don't we try that and then see, because like then you can actually see how your roof piece is going to look. And I guess if you wanted to, you know, you could draw a line, and then that's where you're going to put your glue, and come over to your roof piece. Okay. Trim. That's when you can cut this off too, and leave 1 extra bump. I didn't do a prototype, obviously. I like to kind of learn as I go sometimes. Okay, and then with this one, again, you can kind of plan it out. So this will allow you to like look at it. I'm just going to eyeball it, but I think if you wanted to use a ruler, you could, or you could count the number of bumps and you could do it kind of exactly as you want to, but I'm just going to eyeball it. This is not rocket science to me. So leave that 1 extra bump off the side and bring this down. Give it a press. Okay. Yep. And then over here, I'll just round this a little. Yeah, I think I like that one so far the most in this technique I'm using. Got 1 more to go. Let's try doing it the same way. right like that. Leave one extra bump off the side. And on the other side, same thing. Okay. And just round both of these. All right, let's get rid of all the little excess bits and bobs. Now, if you wanted to, if you're making windows and you wanted to add those under the window as like a little decorative kind of flower thing, you could. So maybe I'll just leave them over there. Who knows what I will want to use after. Okay, so now we've got the roof on. I'll get rid of the gluey papers. And we'll get rid of the pen. Don't need that for now. Okay, so then let's look at the details that she adds to these cottages. So, oops. So a window, and it looks like it's hand drawn on paper, which I love, and you can draw a screen. You can draw like a flower pot in the window, and then there's a door, and it looks like she's either colored or she's just done something and then added like a flower there, and a door handle, scrap paper, and a word snippet of something like a cottage. This one has a sign that says garden shed, and she just wrote it in pencil crayon. Okay. All right, let's do some doors next. I'm going to do doors, I think, from scrap paper. Let's take a look at what I have here. Could that make a cute door? Let's cut this off the bottom of this piece of paper. And then I'll grab the cutter here so I can cut this a little bit straight. And the width I have available is that. So let's see which one of these it would look cute on. I like it on that one, actually. It's a little big for that one. Yeah, let's use it on this one. So this will be our door. Then, let me just check up here. I think I need a little bit more glue around this edge. There we go. Because I didn't glue that fully when I was gluing it. There we go. We'll get rid of this bit of glue. Okay. Now we need like a window or something. Let's come back here. I like the way she did this window here. That might be nice for up here. So maybe we'll do something like that. I have some like off-white paper. So I think I will just tear up a strip. A little wide still. It can't be too big. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so then we need, I'm going to use this giant wax pencil that I have. So the way that we do these, let's pull over this. Okay, so if we imagine a shape that kind of goes like, do I have a pencil handy? I do not think I do. I don't know where it went. Let's just freehand this. Okay, so these are basically going to follow a line. And there's a frame. This is a little tricky. What's an easy way that I could do this? Maybe with a little scrap of paper, we cut out the shape that we want this to be, like so. Then take a black pen. So first of all, there's a frame to hers, which I like the look of. So if I was going to put these in this direction, is this a little too big still maybe? Let's go like that and cut down. So these are now the shapes of this, right? But we want there to be like a frame in here. So I can go ahead, add the first one. And there's distance between them and there's still a frame. So this one would be kind of coming off the side a bit because there's got to be distance. So keep the frame there. And then we come in with the next one and we line it up to the one that we made already. There's a little bit of distance in between them. So this is a bit persnickety, but it's not too bad. And then again, we're going to make a little distance. We got room for another one. And we'll see up here, we still need another one too. Same distance and a frame. It doesn't have to be like super perfect, but you should try to get the general shape. All right, and then this one will have it. It needs to line up there again, right? Yeah, they all line up. Okay. Frame. Okay, I think that's a good guide. So now you can just come in with like a pencil or one of these charcoals. I think charcoal might be a little messy for this. Oh, why am I like this? Okay, hold on. If something is worth doing, it's worth doing it right. We're roughly the same size here, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to cut a little off on both ends for good measure. All right, let's try to do this. Now that we have an idea, See, now we have an idea of what the shape should look like. All right, there we go. And if you want to, you can also kind of outline it. I might do that just in kind of a whimsical way. I think it gives it a bit of intention. Okay, now let's go back over to the cottage we want to add it to. Okay, it's right here. Glue, glue, glue. Okay. Now we need to draw the door handle. And let me look at this. Okay, so I think those are the details that we need before we get to the painting part. Now I think what I'd like to also do is rustic lines around the door. Both on the inner panel and on this panel here. And I'm going to do a few like little circles and just you add your signature to things. Make it look like more of a door. Okay. And then the window, same deal. This is where you can kind of add a bit of, more whimsy and more like intention to whatever you're doing. It doesn't look so, I don't know, linear or something. Okay. All right, so that's what we need to draw. Now, I'll probably just finish like one of these, and the rest of them I'll finish it up and show you all four at the end, but we'll do a tutorial together with just this one. So the next stage I think is going to be painting the flowers. So here we see her using a few different shades for this. So she's got a couple of greens, a nice yellowy green and a little bit darker green, and then a medium fuchsia and a light baby pink, and some white as well. And it looks like she follows the theme on all of these with that same color scheme for the flower painting. And maybe, yeah, that's it. Okay, so let me go grab paint. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got my paints here. These are all acrylics with a little bit of gouache. I didn't have the yellowy green that she has here, but I would like a yellowish green. So I'm just going to mix some paints together, a little of this over here, just to kind of create a green that I like. Secondary green. Okay. That's good. All right. You know what else would make this really nice would be Posca pens. So because she's used this blue tone and it's pretty much my very favorite color, I think I want to do a blue wash over this a little bit. Not like as defined as hers, but a little bit of a blue wash over parts of this. I'm just going to add some water to the acrylic paint, almost like, you know, a milk paint type feel that will bring a little cohesion between the colors that we have, because I just think that would add to the kind of effect of it, especially where things are a little brown up here. Don't want to get it on the shutter or the whatever it's called, that thatchy roof. Plus we also had a little white over there, so I just wanted to kind of neutralize the white a bit too. Yeah. Okay, I think that's already much better. A little more here, just around the window. Okay. Oh yeah, I like that much better. Okay, so we'll just set that brush there. Put my lid on my paint. Grab my other, whoopsies, my other brush, and then my paint over here. Just throw that down here. Whoops. Messy, messy painter. Okay, so where she clusters flowers are around the windows and the door, and then some from the bottom of the house. So the first thing I think I'll do is I will add the foliage at the bottom of the house, and I need a finer brush than these, I think. My daughter has stolen all my fine brushes. I need to buy a few more, I think. She's been doing a lot of painting lately, so she's run off with many of my brushes, which is okay. I will survive. Okay, so you just kind of add, let me pull this up a little bit of like stems, like, and they're kind of a little thicker than you'd expect. At least that's what I'm seeing on her piece. Use a finer brush if this is stressing you out. I'm just sort of like not really stressing. I'm like, okay, I don't have my super fine brush, so I'm not going to cry about it. But the foliage in the background, like this, it's actually quite subtle. It doesn't really matter. So just rinse my brush, and then I'll come up here and I'm going to start in on the darker pink flowers, the darker pink parts of the flowers, and decide where I want to cluster things. So I think I'm going to start my clustering right like in a bow like this. Oh, this brush is too fat. 1 minute. All right, this is a little better. I think I could still stand to have a little bit of a finer brush, but I will survive with this. I'm just going to come in and just kind of do little swipes like this. And keep in mind, don't fill the roses entirely because there's going to be a secondary color. And then just kind of get the shaping that you're going to want, where you want the bunches of roses to be. And, you know, you're going to create a couple different sizes. So there's the bow of the house. Then I'm going to put some over this window. And up above the window too. I'm just going to turn this so it's easier for me to see. Couple over here. And then I'll come down a little further beside the door. Okay. Maybe one more. There we go. Now I'll rinse this dark pink out. And we'll come over to the other pink, and I'm just going to clean this little bit of my brush here. Sorry, hold on one sec. There we go. Okay. Now we'll come in with the more detail for the flowers. So this is where you're finishing up the shape and the look of the roses. So this is where you do want to make it look kind of how it will look as a final flower. And you can decide maybe these aren't roses, they could be peonies, they could be daisies, whatever you want to paint. You don't have to use this color scheme. And I'm just going to fill this in with a pretty general finished kind of feel, but some of them I'm going to come back and add a little more dark pink again. Okay. And don't worry, like, if you feel like, oh, I can't paint, it's fine. And you'll see that when after you add the greenery, it's all going to kind of come together. Just doing like little, the shape is essentially just like little swipes, right? Little curves. Little swirls. Okay. Adding some petals in between. Sorry if you're hearing my kids stomping around upstairs, they're playing. Okay. My son is screaming. He's in a very screamy phase right now when he's playing. Alright, so let's rinse this. And then we'll just come in and look at each flower and decide where I might need just a little more detail. Ignore the blood-piercing screams in the distance. It's because what happens is he's playing with some toy and either my daughter or the dog will grab it and then he's like, I'm 3, I can't share, no sharing. So he's still kind of learning a little bit about sharing. It's a struggle. And I can tell my husband is just in the dining room for a second, so I hear all of what goes upstairs. I hear all of every bit of it. Okay, that is, I think, pretty much what I'm looking for. Give or take a few brush strokes here and there. Okay. Now we'll come in with our darker green as the background kind of green. There's not as much of it, I think, as the highlight green, but you can also come in and you can highlight the finer lines again that we made before. So do that. And if you, depending on if you're right or left-handed, I know some people have trouble, like they have to lean on their work. So if you struggle with that, do this last because it's at the bottom, or just turn the whole thing. For me though, I find myself a little challenged sometimes, like I have to have the piece upright or it just like stops making sense to me at certain stages. So now you're just adding in some greenery around the roses. And remember, don't go too heavily because you're going to have a secondary green. So just kind of pop those colors in there. And with roses, the greenery typically like cradles the flower. So it will be under it and to the sides a little bit. So you can paint it like away or in a way that it's like kind of cupping. Okay, so I think that's sufficient for that one green. Okay, then we'll come in with our lighter and more yellowy green. And this one, you just add like little bits, not such large brush strokes. and it's like little dots and highlights. In between the other green. Okay. And a little over here, coming down. And you can create like little viney bits if you want. You can also add highlights to those stems at the bottom. I think they're okay though. I don't really think they need a lot more. Okay, I think this is mostly, yeah, that's mostly what I'm looking for there. So I'm going to rinse this, and then I'm just going to come in and add the little dots of white on the little flowery plants down here. And they're kind of like a stemmed plant. Okay. So now I need a little bit of drying time. What I'll do while this is drying, before I go on to the next step of this, I'll let it dry completely, and then I'll do the other ones while you're getting a drink, and then we'll be right back and we'll finish all of these up together. Alright, so this is completely dry. The next step I'm going to take with this is not one that the magazine, shows, but because this is, ephemera in a junk journal, and I tend to like to make my things a little more rustic, a little more vintage feeling, I am going to ink it up around the edges. I just think it will kind of give it a nice bit of an element to it. And then I'm going to ink on this little roof thatching that I did too. Just a little bit around it. Okay. Alright, so the stitching's done. I'll just go in and trim these longer threads. And then I'm going to trim this around, but I'm going to leave a little tiny bit of the packaging paper, so I just think it looks like very cute around the edges. And then there was just one last detail that really attracted me to this project, and it was the beading at the bottom of the house. So I think there's a few different things that you can do, and I'll show you a few variations when I show you the finished project. But let's look again at what I'm talking about. You see those beads that she's got there? I think those are super cute. So, move this out of the way, get this up here, and I've got a couple of reused necklaces that I thrifted, and I think I'm going to use the strands of this chain because I think it's quite pretty, but I'm going to go ahead and take the first kind of big clasp that there is, like this bigger clasp here. Okay, so you'll need a pair of jewelry pliers to do this. I mean, they kind of look at the bottom of the house. How many do you want to cross here, right? And then you can take a pen and you can make dots where you want them to go. But I'm going to just live on the edge and not bother, and just poke a hole right through one of the original stitch holes that I have in there. Now you want to make sure you get close enough to the bottom that your jewelry finding is going to thread, because if you go too high, then you'll be sort of stuck and you'll be unable to get your jewelry finding in there. So then come back and just loop that jump ring again nice and tight. There we go. So there's one, and you can make this as long or short as you like. And then I'm going to go for another one right here. I'll grab another piece of jewelry from the chain. And I think I've got 4 on this one. Just got to find the right side here. There it is. Am I in? Am I in? I need to bend this a little more. There we go. Get on through the hole there. And let's close the loop. So we have 2. I'll get another one of these. Okay. And then I went about 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches in on that side, so I'll match it up on this side. And again, pop through the hole and just tighten up that jump ring. Oops. Can be a little fiddly, but once you got it, you got it. Like any kind of jewelry making. Okay. And then I went about 4 holes away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one, I just need to grab this piece. Give it a chain. Come on. And close. Okay, there we go. Alright, so let me get this out of the way. And there we go. Alright, so we have all of the beading done on the Enchanter Cottage, and let me show you the other ones that I completed. I did a few different things. So this one I also added beads, but just to the center. Another thing I thought that'd be really cute is you could put an eyelet in either side here and an elastic, and you could literally use this as a journal topper. Like if we imagine this is the journal, or it's a little bit of a smaller one, but maybe a larger one, you could use it, you know, with eyeletted elastic to go on top of your journal and be a closure or a topper. So there's that one. That one I just put a little house, and I added a window with a little picture of flowers. And then this one, a lovely garden, just at the bottom as a statement. It's not on a sign or anything. This is where I used the extra bits of roof here for under the windows and added more beading. And then this one, because I wanted to have one that was like a little more minimal, it didn't have beading. This is if you're concerned about bulk in your journal. Tender Grass Courtyard is up top there, and I just added little tied fun bits of string from this nice yarn. So those are a few different variations on the project. I thought this was a really fun little art piece, and I'm happy to be inspired by my books and be using them, and I hope you'll give it a try. So thank you so much for joining me, and we will talk again very soon. Bye for now.